The Curse of Blackthorn Manor. In the small, forgotten village of Blackthorn, tales of witchcraft whispered through the trees like an ancient curse. Generations ago, a coven of witches ruled over the land, practicing dark magic in the woods, far from the prying eyes of the church. Their leader, Blackthorn, was feared and revered, a witch of unparalleled power who bound her bloodline to the forces of darkness in exchange for immortality. But when the village turned against her, burning her coven at the stake, swore a final curse upon her executioners. From the blood of my kin shall rise the one who will deliver your descendants into darkness eternal. Centuries passed, but the curse lived on in the shadows. The villagers built over the ruins of Blackthorn Manor, their lives touched by quiet misfortune and fear of the forest. They never ventured too close, for it was said that Elowen's spirit haunted the land, waiting for her descendant to claim her vengeance. Evan. A 10-year-old boy lived in Blackthorn with his mother, Clara. Clara never spoke of the past, but Evan had always felt something strange about their family. The townsfolk would eye him warily, as if they knew something he didn't. His nights were filled with strange dreams, visions of the woods, of twisted trees and dark figures chanting under the blood moon. The dreams grew more vivid as his birthday approached, but no one would speak of them. One stormy night, on the eve of Evan's 11th birthday, Clara sat him down, her face pale and her hands trembling. "Evan, there's something you need to know," she whispered. "Our family, we're descendants of the Blackthorn witches." His heart pounded in his chest. "Witches? You're joking." "I wish I were," Clara replied. Blackthorn was our ancestor. She bound her bloodline to dark magic, and every few generations, one child is born with her power. That child is destined to bring her back. Evan felt a cold shiver run down his spine. "What does that mean? Am I—" Clara nodded, tears in her eyes. "You're the one, Evan. The curse is upon you. Tomorrow, on your birthday, Elowen will return to claim your body and soul. But there is still hope. There's a way to stop her, a way to end the curse once and for all." She handed him a small, leather-bound book, old and fragile, filled with symbols and incantations. "This is her grimoire. It contains the spell that can banish her spirit forever. But you must be strong, Evan. When the time comes, you must not let her take control." That night, Evan couldn't sleep. The storm outside howled like a beast, rattling the windows and shaking the walls. He stared at the grimoire, feeling the weight of the centuries-old curse on his shoulders. His dreams returned, more intense than ever. This time, he saw Elowen, her face gaunt and eyes burning with hatred, calling to him from the depths of the woods. At the stroke of midnight, Evan awoke to a deafening crash. The storm had shattered the window, and the wind howled through the room like a scream. In the distance, he heard a voice, Elowen's voice, whispering his name. He knew what he had to do. Clutching the grimoire, Evan slipped out of bed and into the storm. The village was dark and silent, but the woods seemed alive, the trees swaying and groaning as if they were being pulled toward him. He followed the voice deeper into the forest until he reached the ruins of Blackthorn Manor, hidden beneath overgrown vines and twisted roots. In the center of the clearing stood a crumbling stone altar, and on it, a figure began to take shape. Elowen's spirit, rising from the earth, her body flickering like the shadows cast by the lightning. "Come to me, child," she hissed. "Fulfill your destiny. I am your blood, and through you, I shall live again." Evan's hands shook, but he opened the grimoire, searching for the spell his mother had shown him. As Elowen drew closer, the wind grew fiercer, and the ground beneath him seemed to tremble. With trembling lips, he began to recite the ancient words, the spell that would bind her spirit and end the curse. Ellawen screamed in rage, her form twisting and writhing as she fought against the magic. "You cannot defeat me," she shrieked. "I am eternal. You are but a child." But Evan continued, his voice growing louder, stronger, as the power of the grimoire surged through him. The air crackled with energy, and Ellawen's form began to dissolve, her screams echoing through the forest as she was pulled back into the earth. With one final word, Evan completed the spell. A blinding light erupted from the altar, and then silence. Ellawen was gone. The storm cleared, and the forest fell still. Evan stood alone in the ruins of Blackthorn Manor, his body shaking with exhaustion, but his heart filled with a quiet triumph. The curse was broken. He had vanquished the evil that had haunted his family for centuries. As he returned home, the first rays of dawn breaking over the horizon, Evan knew his life would never be the same. He was the last of the Blackthorn witches, but he had chosen a different path. The curse was over, and the village of Blackthorn was free. But somewhere, deep in the earth, a whisper lingered in the shadows, waiting. For curses, like the darkest magic, never truly die.